What's my take on the Mizoram Chief Minister's activities in the United States? Very interesting stuff that's going on. So this gentleman, I forget his name, I can't pronounce his name, Mr. Lal something, uh, the Chief Minister of Mizoram. So this gentleman is a constitutionally elected representative of the Indian people, right, in the state of Mizoram. He has taken an oath of office, and he has sworn to uphold the constitution and so on and so forth, and the sovereignty, national territorial integrity, etc., of the country. But in the US, he's been making these statements in which he's essentially saying that we, the Zo people, the cookie Zo people, or whatever. See, the Mizos and the Zomis and the cookies, etc., are the same people. So when it comes to the cookie infiltration that's happening inside India, lakhs of cookies coming into India across the border, a lot of that allegedly is said to be coming in through Mizoram. So Manipur, Mizoram, Nagaland, etc., the entire eastern flank of India, we've always had an open border policy with Burma. Burma is a friendly nation, has been historically a friendly nation. It's part of the Indosphere, same culture, etc. So we have no actual issues over there, no territorial disputes also. But now there's a situation there where there's a civil war, and and the cookies, this particular tribal group, the cookies, they are actually not even Burmese. They don't speak the Burmese language. They don't practice Burmese culture. They have mostly converted to Christianity or whatever other Abrahamic religion. Some of them claim to be Jewish, despite being a tribe that eats pork, which is very interesting. Yeah. And so the cookies and the Mizos are the same people. So a whole lot of this infiltration is allegedly happening via Mizoram. Lakhs of them are being brought in via the Mizoram Burma border, allegedly. And then they are routed into, they're pushed into Manipur. They're not allowed to settle in Mizoram, but they're pushed into Manipur to occupy Manipur. And that's how thousands of artificial villages, new villages have come up in Manipur, southern Manipur especially, in the past few years. That's the issue. So looks like the Mizoram government is kind of allegedly complicit in what's happening. I mean, that's the allegation that has been made repeatedly of late. Okay, and these individuals, once they come in, they get all the documentation and all, and they essentially become Indian citizens, and they get more rights and privileges than the actual indigenous people of Manipur. That's what's happening. This is a disaster, absolute disaster. Now, there's a whole bunch of cookies who live on the eastern side of the border in Burma. There's a whole bunch of them who have infiltrated into India and who have settled in, who are now occupying Manipuri territory. And then there's a Mizo people as well who live in Mizoram. Same ethnic group spread across, and a bunch of them also apparently live in the Chittagong Hills region of Bangladesh. So the cookies are currently fighting three governments. They're fighting the Burmese government, they're fighting the Bangladesh government, okay, military, civil war kind of situation, insurgency, terrorism activities, and they're also doing the same thing, terrorism in Manipur against the Indian government. They are fighting three nations, okay? And look, this ragtag, half-naked tribal group, how come they are so very well organized? First question. Secondly, where is this limitless supply of arms and ammunition coming from? Drones. They bombed the capital of Manipur via drones, through drones. Imagine the capital of an Indian state is under attack by drones. Drone bombing. Incredible. How did they get the drones, the technology, the know-how, etc.? And who is organizing them? Who's providing the leadership? Obviously, it's being done from outside. There's a larger power in play over here. The puppet masters live very far away across the oceans, the other side of the planet. So the church is very much involved in this. Okay, it's very well known. So essentially, it's Project K, Cookie Land for Christ, and the objective is to create a new nation, artificial Christian nation, out of parts of India, Bangladesh, and Burma. Which parts of India? Mizoram and Manipur. Large parts of these two states. Okay, so this artificial nation essentially cuts off India's access to Southeast Asia, to Eastern Asia, the same way that Pakistan cuts off India's access to Western Asia and Eurasia. The same sort of thing. So they want to completely, this larger power out there wants to completely encircle India. Imagine the Chinese string of pearls on steroids, that sort of thing. Um, so that's the context in which we have to see the activities of the esteemed chief minister of Mizoram, who goes to the US, and from US territory says that we cannot accept the division of the Zo people, and we are divided across 3 or 4 countries or whatever, and we will reunite and all that. And then when he is asked about this, the statement that is put out later, when this all came and became a big issue on social media, the statement that's put out is that he is talking about reunification under the context of the Indian nation or something. That's the kind of excuse he's making. Essentially, what he is saying, that doesn't really cut it. It's not convincing at all. What if you and the text of his speech is actually available on a government website, on an Indian government website, official website. This secessionist sentiment is shared, is put out proudly on an Indian government website. So that's what's happening. It is extremely problematic for us, and the real puppet master behind all of this is the United States. The deep state, the CIA, whatever you want to call it. They have had a very long presence in India's Far East. It is American missionaries, Christian missionaries, who converted very, very large parts of the population of the Far East to Christianity. Most of Nagaland has lost its culture. Cultural devastation, genocide, cultural genocide, and conversion to a foreign religion. Who did it? It was American missionaries who did it, with the blessings of the great, magnificent Mr. Nehru. So most of the Christianization and most of the cultural loss happened after 1947, not during British times. Can you imagine that? And you've had American Christian activity, missionary activities in India going on for decades. This actor Tom Alter, who was this American guy, blue-eyed guy who speaks in extremely good Urdu, not Hindi, Urdu. Well, that guy, his parents were American missionaries. So that's the kind of activities the Americans have been doing, and their objective is to create this new artificial Christian nation out of parts of India, Bangladesh, and Burma. So this is extremely concerning. And the government of India needs to take this up at various levels with the United States. And first of all, and that's number two, and that's second. But first of all, we have to rein in the chief minister of Mizoram, if required. If he is indulging in anti-national activities, secessionist activities, we should be sacked. I think there is enough justification for that. So I think the call has to be taken by the government of India, by the Modi government. But this is extremely concerning, and the puppet master, as always, is Uncle Sam.